All right, this is One Last Midnight, and I just wanted to take a minute or two to break down the Banished Challenge number 2, Hardship. Cover some of the strategies, cover some of the problems that players might have run across, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks. I call it the formula for disaster. A distraction plus rush timing equals bad decisions. The whole purpose of putting down 2 disasters on the initial load of the game causes the player to feel anxious. Truly, the fire and the disease are pure distraction methods. They have nothing to do with the game other than the fact to try to distract the player into immediately making decisions that they don't need to make. You could absolutely 100% ignore the fact that your buildings are on fire and that your villagers have some sort of disease. It doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do about the fire, and there's nothing you can do about the disease. So just put them out of your mind when you play this, because really they're just there to confuse you. All right, let's talk about timing of the game, because timing is everything. You have to remember that this is a population challenge, so the more time that you have, the better off you are. The forced game speed states the first 5 minutes is at 2x, the majority of the game is at 5x, and the last 30 minutes is at 10x speed. The 3 tactical pauses are 100% optional. I did highly recommend that you take the first pause to evaluate the situation in the game. Otherwise, the second and third pauses really didn't need to be used, and you didn't have to use the 5 minutes for those pauses. As a matter of fact, if you notice my gameplay, I didn't take 1 pause at all. The timing rules are solely there to make sure that all players run at the exact same amount of time, except for the tactical pauses. This is where the players can make a strategic choice to not use the pauses and gain those additional 15 minutes back to help build their population. All right, let's talk a minute about restricted professions, because actually I found this kind of funny. The reaction that I got from the restricted professions rule was pretty interesting. But you know, it really doesn't matter, because the no farmers and the no teachers restrictions are actually traps. You really want to put down farms because farms produce the most food, but in this particular climate, farms don't produce much. And you really want to put down teachers because you want people to be more proficient at the job that they're doing. But to be honest with you, teachers restrict from growing your population. Now, let me clarify this remark about schools, because people are going to hear this and they're going to say you're crazy. But here's what happens. A child goes into school at age of 10, and they don't graduate until somewhere between 16 and 20 years of age. Now, conversely, if a child doesn't go to school, at age 10, they can then become part of the productive population, which means they can get married and they can start having children. So the moment that you put kids into school, you're actually slowing down the amount of children that you can wind up producing. So the first 2 are absolutely traps. Don't fall into putting down farms or putting down teachers, schools, because they're just not going to do you any good. In the long run, they're actually going to wind up hurting you. The only restricted profession that actually causes some sort of impact because of the way that the configuration is for the game is the no doctors rule. And the only thing you could do with that is pray that in the first 15 years, you don't get hit with some sort of disease. But otherwise, don't put down farmers and don't put down teachers. You'll have a much larger population if you just don't even worry about that stuff. Let's talk about the beginning traps. Now, your initial reaction when you load this up is you're going to see people that are homeless, and you're going to want to build houses for them. That is a 100% trap. The amount of food and the amount of firewood that you have and the fact that you're about to go into winter will cause your colony to go into starvation and hypothermia. You can't put down houses first. This was a trap that a lot of the players fell into. So it was kind of interesting to see how people evaluated their initial resources and really looked at the information panels that were sitting there on the side that I had placed for them. The question that you're probably having is why? Why is that going to cause such a big problem? The first house that you put down, the villagers are going to go and grab a huge amount of food and the remaining bits of firewood and place them in that house. So the second house and the third house and the fourth house that get built aren't going to have any food and any firewood. And you're immediately going to start seeing your village have starvation symbols and going to start having their cold symbols. So this is something that you don't want to fall into if you play this. Well, I'm sure there's different approaches to beating the trap, but the most effective way I found to really alleviate the problem is by putting down firewood first and then putting down some sort of food source. Once you have those two items in place, then you can start building your houses to your heart's content. And the rest, to be honest with you, is up to pure luck. The way that the randomness works in Banished, if you watch other people that have played the challenge, you'll see that some people have been hit by disease, some people have been hit by tornadoes, and all kinds of various things have happened to them. So even it doesn't matter from loading to loading, everybody's having a slightly different experience, except for the first initial. And that's where you can lose a large percentage of your population if you don't follow some steps to beat it. I hope you've enjoyed the breakdown of the Banished Challenge 2 Hardship. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Please remember to hit that like button if you liked the video and subscribe to our channel so you can stay on top of all of our latest video releases. I release content almost every day. We'll see you guys soon. Bye.